So
No,
Michael
please.
Pina,
Anything else?
Michael Pina of The Ringer, who we had on a week ago,
Yeah.
on Friday. I don't know if you remember. You were doing your little thing where you were pressing about his awards, ballot,
Yeah.
getting
gotcha.
OG on the defensive team,
Mhm.
getting Pascal, and then you got what you needed, and you just told Derek to hang up the phone.
I mean, what else was Michael going to give us?
Very efficient there.
Yeah.
But he did publish his awards at The Ringer this week.
Mhm,
And,
mhm.
last week when he was on the show, he said that Pascal was on the bubble for the All-NBA team.
Mm.
And based on his ballot, Pascal did not make it.
Mhm.
So on his first team was Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jason Tatum, Giannis, and Nikola Jokic. On the second team, Dame Lillard. I mean, yeah, I guess individual stats, Dame does deserve to be on there.
Yeah. I mean,
Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown, Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid. And on his third team was De'Aaron Fox, Steph Curry, Lauri Markkanen, Julius Randle, and Domantas Sabonis. So Pascal did not make the cut.
Yeah.
Any issues with that?
no, I mean, I think, the spot would basically be, does he get it over Lauri Markkanen or Julius Randle? I think you can also put Jaylen Brown as a guard and create another forward slot if you really wanted it to. Clearly, this is already missing some really talented forwards on the list because of KD and Kawhi and LeBron, but those guys all missed enough games where it's like, okay, you're not really considering those guys, even though we know quality-wise, those three guys are definitely three of the best forwards in the league. But yeah, I mean, the arguments would be with like Lauri Markkanen or Julius Randle. And I think like Randle should be on the list no matter what, really. Like, the Knicks have had such a good season. They deserve one representative. There's no doubt about that. So I'll just give Randle the spot. But I think even with Lauri Markkanen, for example, so like Lauri is averaging one more point per game. And the biggest thing is that he has a 8% higher edge in true shooting percentage, which is significant. To be honest, that's probably why he's scoring one more point per game. He's just more efficient with his scoring. But I think the argument for Pascal is he's played 4 more games and counting, right, than Lauri. The Raptors have more wins, which obviously is not that much of an accomplishment considering the fact that the Raptors are disappointing and actually the Jazz have been overachieving despite them wanting to tank. But I think the bigger edge is like, what do you value more, playmaking or scoring efficiency, right? Because I think for Pascal, he averages over 6 assists per game and Lauri averages less than 2. So we're talking about an additional 4 assists. Now, does that overcome 8 percentage points of true shooting? Probably. I'd argue that. I mean, I would even give it that their defense is probably the same this season. I think Pascal has not played his best defensively this year, and Lauri's not really known for his defense. But so we'll just even say that's an even. But I mean, there's a case there, right? Like, for example, he has Jokic on the first team, but Joel Embiid on the second team. And I'm sure if we asked him about it, he'd say, well, Jokic has so much more playmaking in addition to Pascal, or in addition to Joel. Well, I guess you can extend that same argument to Lauri versus, Pascal, for example. But I mean, like, again, like Pascal is on the bubble. So like you can make these arguments for a lot of these other guys.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's a huge surprise here. I think Pascal is on that list, like we said, of guys that are just kind of on the fringe of making the third team. And yeah, no, the choice of Jokic over Embiid, Jokic on the first team. So Pina also revealed his MVP pick, and he's going with Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, there's no surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have him over Joel on the first team,
So,
yeah. He also said he was the biggest Jokic fan in the world, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that on our show.
Yeah, so, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see about the MVP.
No,
list,
look, listen, I'm not ultimately like upset. This is not like one of those things where it's like we gotta like go after Michael Pina.
Like, let's get Howard Beck on the phone. Let's get the other 99 votes. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Get the Podfather.
Listen, if the Raptors had the record that the Raptors should be having, and Pascal's having this exact same year, he'd be on the All-NBA team.
Yeah,
but the Raptors' success and lack thereof, and also the disappointment around the team, has now left it so that he is not on the team.
Well,
or that he is a fringe candidate for the team. And even last year when he made it, if you look through all the votes, he was actually the guy who got the least amount of like points to get on the team. That's not this besmirch the appointment, but I'm just saying that he was on the bubble last year when the Raptors won 48 games. This year, when the Raptors are really struggling to even crack 500, it's not a surprise.
Yeah, I think, Pascal and Pascal's reps would probably differ, in this opinion that I'm going to say, just because, we've noted that there's a difference in the extension that he can get, right? I think it's almost like $100 million difference if he made the All-NBA team.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I think the main thing for Raptors fans and stuff is knowing that, they have an All-NBA player. Like, I don't think it's disputable that Pascal's an All-NBA player. It's just that when it comes to these voting sometimes, especially, on the bubble for the third team, that's going to happen. Better news, OG did make all-defensive second team on Michael Pina's ballot. So first team, he has Drew Holiday, Alex Caruso, Draymond Green, Evan Mobley, and Brook Lopez. On the second team, Derek White, Dylan Brooks, OG Anunoby, Jaren Jackson Jr. and Nick Claxton. And he also said, quote, if the season had ended in December, Anunoby might have won Defensive Player of the Year. His popularity peaked, but his quality of play did not. And he noted that OG still leads the league in steals and is second in deflections. I think it would be a bit of a surprise if OG does not end up on an all-defensive team at the end of the season.
I think he deserves to. There's no doubt. And again, like this is easier for voters to look at, where it's like, okay, who leads the league in steals? Is OG? Most likely is going to be on the list. We also know that he's just a great defensive player. It just looked like the last game, for example, against Boston, right? Obviously, the Raptors lost, but the Raptors actually defensively did a great job collectively as a team. But who led that charge? It was OG Anunoby. 4 steals, 3 blocks while guarding Jaylen Brown, force him to multiple turnovers, force him to shoot an inefficient percentage. Like, that's what OG does. And I think with OG, too, the case is you have the ability to guard multiple positions. You know, when you go through this list of, like, MVP candidates here, right, his top 5 on this list, OG has guarded number 1 on his ballot, Nikola Jokic. He's guarded number 2 on the ballot, Joel Embiid. He's guarded number 3 on the ballot, Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's guarded number 4 on the list, Jason Tatum. He's guarded number 5 on his list, Domantas Sabonis.
Yeah, he did a great job on Sabonis.
And he literally did a great job on all 5 of those guys.
Yeah.
So that's why OG's on the list. There's no doubt about that. I think for me, like, I would put Jaren Jackson Jr. ahead of Evan Mobley on the first team. Evan Mobley would be on the first team ahead of Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah,
and also,
you're
like,
a Mobley hater, though.
No, Jared Allen should be on the list. Who's the best defender on Cleveland?
All right.
It's Jared Allen.
All right, we'll dive into that
So,
later. No, I know you're a Mobley hater, though.
No, I'm not saying you don't put Evan Mobley on the list, but you're telling me Jaren Jackson Jr. is on second team while Evan Mobley's on first team?
No, that's fair.
Jaren Jackson Jr., he's leading the league in blocks. He's like the bedrock of that whole defense for Memphis, which is why they're successful in the first place. So.
Yeah, I think I think same with all NBA teams. It's there's a lot of guys that aren't going to make the cut. You know, make honorable mentions, which is tough.